Hello, book readers. This is the B-side book reviews, and today we are going to launch off to outer space with Edgar Rice Burroughs' classic, The Princess of Mars. Yes, I don't have the book with me. It's in my attic, and even though it's November, it's still too hot to go and rummage through all my stuff in the attic. But this book by Edgar Rice Burroughs came out around 1912, which was about the same time as Burroughs' Tarzan book came out. So you got Princess of Mars and you got Tarzan coming out about the same time. Oh, what a great time to be a reader back in those days, because we didn't have TV. In 1912, we didn't really have movies either, so everyone read. So, all I can tell you is get yourself some coffee, and we will launch off into outer space to the Red Planet. Or you can just watch me talk about it and, I don't know, count how many words I mispronounce. Ooh, that's always fun. The story of Civil War veteran John Carter and his adventures in the Wild West. Yes, our story begins as our hero is about to strike it rich from a bleeding vein of gold he has found in the Arizona territory. And in the aura of a perhaps Lewis L'Amour Western novel, John is attacked by a bunch of ruthless Apache Indians. Now, in a desperate attempt to escape sure mutilation, he seeks refuge in a cave. And this, boys and girls, is where our story takes a dramatic turn from anything Lewis L'Amour ever wrote. Oh boy, does it ever. L'Amour would have had this guy courageously fight tooth and nail and become victorious. Fight his way out of predicament. Edgar Rice Burroughs, on the other hand, well, he sends John Carter to Mars. And we're not just real sure how he gets there. He just gets there. Okay, that's the setup. Now I'm getting to the story. So, if you don't want it all spoiled, you haven't read this book maybe, go on to my next section, length, enjoyment, easy read, something like that. But this is an old book. You should have already read the darn thing by now. It's been out for 100 years. So, now John is on the planet Mars, stripped of all clothing, by the way, and the renegade, red-skinned Apaches have now been replaced by huge green creatures with 4 arms and huge tusks. Naked as well, by the way, who go by the name of the Forks. Forks. Yes, this is where our story loses any similarities with anything Lewis L'Amour or any other Western writer could have or would have ever written. However, like most Lewis L'Amour stories or Western stories, our hero is of extreme courage, and basically he's the baddest and toughest dude in the land, or planet. And even though the Tharks are over 10 feet tall, John Carter can kick their Martian ass in any one-on-one duel without any problems. Now, even though he becomes their prisoner, Mr. Carter kills so many of the Tharks' badass warriors that he becomes quite respected. in the realm of their green Martian Thark badassness or whatever. Yes, he even takes out one of the most feared enemies of the Tharks, the notorious white apes, who have 4 arms as well. Yeah, think about that. But fear not those who want romance with their adventure in sci-fi. For our hero embarks upon more than just green Tharks and white apes. For John does find a chick to fall for. And no, she's not green. She's not white either. Actually, she's red and somewhat human with only 2 arms. And as an added bonus, she's naked as well. Her name is Deja Thoris, I think. And she just happens to be the Red Princess of Helium, I think. Who is the sworn enemies of these green tusked Thark guys. Yeah, I see a trouble brewing here. Well, the folks of Helium seem to be peace-loving enough, but the Tharks are a bit more violent. Hey, when you're big, green, have 4 arms, tusk, and have a name like Tharks, you've got to have a bit of an attitude. Yep, it ain't easy being green. Well, the Tharks take the princess captive, and then the story just goes on and on, with John falling for this red helium 2-armed red princess chick, and well, John spends the rest of our story freeing her from the 4-armed green creatures, and basically devotes his life to returning the red beauty safely back home to her red helium people. Yeah, during this quest he battles against the Tharks and scraps a bit with another bunch of not so peaceful red human-like guys. And then, he takes on a few more Tharks, all in the name of sweet Martian love. Now, in the end, our hero brings peace and tranquility to the 4th rock from the sun. Of course, he and the princess will hook up. You didn't see that coming, right? And before long, they have an egg in the incubator. Okay, that's not slang for being pregnant either. You see, they do things a little bit different on Mars. Egg in the incubator. So, everything is sweet on Mars. Or not. Unfortunately, the air is thinning because the guy who runs the air maker on the planet dies. And there is only one other guy who knows the combination into the atmosphere plant. And as luck would have it, he's dead too. Now, don't that just suck? Yes, apparently cross-training wasn't a big thing on Mars, but fear not, because our hero John Carter comes to the rescue again and is able to open the doors of the atmosphere plant just before he collapses. So, does John Carter save the red planet? I don't really know. You see, after he collapses, John wakes up in the Arizona cave, the same day he went in. Why can't I have dreams like that? My dreams are more like being in college and flunking final exams. I can't dream about friggin' naked red Martian princesses and that cool stuff. Yes, John Carter fell right out of a Lewis L'Amour story, or some kind of western like that. Handsome, courageous, defender of the weak. Okay, you get the point. And of course, this Digisaurus was apparently a bit of a hottie. But my question is, why were they all naked? Mars is much further from the sun. So, wouldn't she be freezing her shapely little bare red Martian ass off? That's my question. Maybe I need to check my astronomy book on that one. I don't really know about that. Okay, bare red shapely Martian asses aside, my favorite characters were the giant, green, four-armed tusked Martians, the Tharks. Yeah, with a description like that, how could they not be loved? Honorable mention, though, goes to Carter's loyal hound. If I can just remember the dog's name. Moolah? Moolah. Moolah. I don't know Moolah. All Martians should be lucky enough to have such a pet. Red shapely Martian ass. Oh, there it is. Now, this was one of my mom's favorite books from her sci-fi days, and I've read it twice now myself. However, I first learned of this story through a really cool Frank Frazetta print. Yeah, no one can make four-armed green tusk Martians come to life quite like a Frank Frazetta could. It was also the first Edgar Rice Burroughs book I had ever read. Now, I had always thought this story would make a hellaciously awesome movie that might just blow Star Wars right off the screen. Well, I thought that until they made John Carter back in 2012. It was subpar at the best, and a bit of a box office bomb. Glad I didn't waste any time writing the screenplay. Now, one of my favorite parts of the entire story was the fact that John Carter was the strongest and baddest guy on the planet. Now, apparently Burroughs knew his laws of physics. You see, Carter had lived his life on a much larger planet Earth, which has a much stronger gravitational pull, which means he was more conditioned. Now, I just hope we're never invaded by creatures from Jupiter, because we'll be toast. You see, Jupiter here is a whole lot bigger than Earth, and it's got a lot more mass, so it's got more gravitational pull, so that people living there would be a lot stronger, and you know what I'm talking about. Okay, about the length. I'm trying to compare these 186 pages to the 132-minute 2012 movie John Carter. Not the 2009 Troy C. Lord's version. No. Now, the John Carter movie did have its strengths, but it was certainly a bad copy. But aren't they all, though? I never saw the Tracy Lords version. However, now that I'm thinking about it, the only thing that comes to mind is how hot Lynn Collins looked in the movie John Carter, playing the scantily dressed Princess Digisaurus. Ooh, yeah. Nice red and okay, now I've lost focus. What was the question again? What were we talking about? Right. Okay, so that was the classic Edgar Rice Burroughs novel, The Princess of Mars, which I still don't have in my hands, so I'm using my astronomy book from college as a prop. Look, Star Wars. Now, the first time I ever read this book, I used my mom's copy, which she had way back when she was a little girl, from the 1930s. Yes, I think old books are really cool, except the part where they're kind of falling apart. Now, as I said before, there has been a couple of movies made about this story. Now, John Carter, the 2012 movie, was not as bad as everyone kind of said it was. Definitely worth 2 hours of your life. But I would read the book first. Always read the book first. So, go read a book.